this is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now.
It is bedlam. It is pandemonium. It is fandemonium.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 24/7 Buff Fandemonium presents the K-Gun Report. I'm your host, Jared. Tonight joining me, we have Scott.
Heyo.
And Swank.
Yo.
Guys, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. On our tracker below, you will find our handles. Also down there, you'll find updated stats, injuries, Bills news, and 24/7 BF news. Fellas, what are you drinking tonight? Scott, we're going to start with you.
I am drinking Iron Smoke Whiskey out of Fairport. Cheers.
Good drink. Delicious. Cheers. Swank, what do you got down there, over there,
Well,
up there?
24 BFM, you'll be happy to know that it was a pay week. So I am drinking other half Birdcage Imperial Pale Ale, the juiciest of juicies.
Is that their slogan? And it's gone.
It is now.
The juiciest of juicy. Fellas,
What are you drinking, Jared?
with the beverages, we have with the America's oldest brewery, Yingling Lager. Deliciousness. I had to go with an old flavor this week. I'll be drinking it out of my Buffalo Bills cup. Oh, yeah. Go Bills.
Nice. Go Bills.
Well, guys, it's been almost 6 days. I'm sad to say we got our first loss. We're now 4-1. We lost to the Tennessee Titans 42-16. It wasn't how we planned it going, but that's all right. You know, I say it's all right because you can't win them all. We try, but we'll take 4-1. In a 16-game season, a 4-1 start is a pretty good start. So what we're hoping from this Buffalo Bills team is that they take this and they learn from it and they move on. And like I said, this was 6 days ago. We're not going to spend too much time on this game because we got Kansas City tomorrow. Guys, I just want to know a little bit of what your reaction was watching the game this past Tuesday. Scott, I'll leave with you.
A lot of emotions going right now. Don't know if to hate to what happened to Buffalo or don't know whether to just ride along with it and take it as it is. It was kind of a skewed week in regards to the Bills alone, having to wait till Monday to figure out who they're playing, and then finding out Monday that they're going to Tennessee and playing the Titans. To make a long story short, they didn't show up. I think they're with the positive that the Titans got on Monday. I think they were thinking that they would be hosting the Chiefs on Thursday. They game planned them all week just like they did the Titans, and I think they got the short end of the stick. NFL said, go ahead. Go to Tennessee and play them. So I think they prepared for the Chiefs. I think they didn't show up against the Titans. A lot of injuries, obviously. We had a lot of no-shows to that game. And it was a humbling game. Nothing went right for the Buffalo Bills. 10 penalties, turnovers.
3 turnovers. Yeah.
4 scores. The Titans only had to drive 30 yards or less for 4 of their scores. That's 28 points right there alone. But like I said, to make a long story short, they didn't show up, and now they have to play the Chiefs tomorrow, which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to anything to erase that game out of my memory,
Yep.
to be honest. I was super disappointed. I feel like it, they got the short end of the stick. It was back and forth, and nobody knew, and they were talking forfeit, and then they were talking postponement, and then they moved it and pushed us out of our primetime game, all this stuff. And then, you let fans into that stadium down there. I just can't – I can't believe they did that,
It's like insult to injury.
Yeah, and nobody said anything about it. I didn't hear anybody making a big deal about it. You have a team that had 25 positive cases, players and coaches, and I don't care if it's, the guy that fits your shoe or whatever it is. You had 25 cases. The Patriots got their game moved back one day because of one positive case. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know. It seemed messed up. Then you have the scenario where the Titans had 2 weeks basically to prepare for the Bills because they pretty much knew the NFL wasn't going to cancel them out, right? You're not going to lose 2 games in a row, and they're not going to add weeks. They're trying to jam it in 17 as much as they can. So I don't know. I think I won't make a bunch of excuses for them. Like they came out and they played piss poor, and it was a bummer. John Brown is a big deal. In case anybody was wondering if Gabe Davis was gonna like somehow get John Brown like cut from the team, that's not happening. John Brown's a big deal. Matt Milano is a huge deal. Trey White is a huge deal for anybody who had a doubt in that. So what I'm hoping, and Scott and I were kind of talking about this before we started the stream, is that maybe the Bills were already in KC mode. Maybe they figured, okay, we have a good shot of hitting this Titans team kind of when they're down, and we have to focus on the Chiefs. Maybe Trey was like questionable, and maybe he didn't want to go down because of the COVID and stuff, you know? Like that's a really big reality that could have been there too.
Yep.
But like, you know, he seems to have a pretty substantial injury. Nobody really knows. Nobody's really talking about it too much. I want to think that they're like, okay, well, we know we're playing the Chiefs, so we have to prepare for the Chiefs when all that stuff was up in the air. And maybe 2 weeks off for Matt Milano, 2 weeks off for John Brown, 2 weeks off for Trey. You know, I want to see those guys come into the game healthy and hopefully play and put up a good effort against the Chiefs.
Well, real quick, Eric Gorner's with us already, and he stated something that I did not realize. I may have heard it from the announcers maybe 500 or 600 dozen times, but he stated here that the Titans didn't get to practice for 2 weeks. So, you know, you also have that. The announcers kind of got
2
annoying
weeks of
with
film study, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they
2
had
weeks of rest, 2 weeks of film study,
an extra
2 weeks
game to like
Yep.
prepare. Like the Bills
So-
put more on tape than the Titans did too.
Yeah, so my big thing is when people kept asking me throughout the week before the Tennessee Titans game what my score prediction was going to be, and I can honestly say I knew it was going to be a blowout, but I was not sure on which end, right? So you have a team that doesn't practice for 2 weeks. You're going to think that, oh, they're going to come in cold, they're going to come in slow, they're going to come in with no contact. And the Bills, who are 4-0, are going to come in there all wrapped up and they're going to be willing to go. Or you have the Tennessee Titans who have 2 weeks off. They've been film studying, keeping their bodies healthy, and the Bills are going to come in thinking what I was just thinking previous, that, you know, they're tired and we're going to come in and roll over. So I had a bold prediction of 42-10 2 weeks ago. I was off. It was supposed to be the other way. But and, and Scott, I know you said a lot in the Facebook programs there that but they didn't practice for 2 weeks. I know that was a common phrase that you used because that's all you heard throughout the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it was woe is Titans the whole game. Even when they were putting a shellac into the Bills, they couldn't give it a rest. Not one positive thing that I hear towards the Bills. Obviously, they didn't deserve it because they didn't play. Nothing positive came their way, but it was the whole game, the biased game. And I'm sorry, tomorrow against the Chiefs, we have the Fox crew. It might be the same way if you're listening.
Yeah.
Was that Aikman and Buck? That'll be fun.
Yeah. These announcers tend to find players that they're in love with, and they talk about them the whole time. So
Do you think
it'll be interesting.
Mahomes will be one of those players or no?
I don't know. He's a likable guy. I mean,
He is,
nothing
dude.
nothing
He
against
is.
him. The guy does everything positive. He's a all-star, and he deserves to be talked about. But you need to share the wealth. There's 3.5 hours worth of TV. You can say something about the other team.
Yeah.
I
Well-
must say, go ahead, Swank.
Well, I was just saying, I'm hoping that this isn't gonna like, you know, kill the whole narrative that like, you know, the Bills were for real before this last game, right? And now they lost to the Titans, who they're the COVID team and blah blah. They were still a tough team, and if anybody can recall going into this 4-game stretch with the Rams, the Raiders, the Titans, and the Chiefs, everybody said if we could come out 2-2, we were doing really well. So right now we're 1-2. If they win tomorrow, that's going to be out of control, huge. But just to look at like some of the things that happened, that Titans team that beat up on us last week came up and put up 42 points or something like that today too, and came away with another win. And you know, the Patriots lost to Denver, which is awesome. So we still have a 2-game lead. We're literally
Miami's second in the division.
I know. That's so
3-3.
awesome, dude. It's
And
so
we
awesome.
have the tiebreaker against them too right now.
Exactly. So right now it's like, even if they lose tomorrow, which I'm not saying that they're going to lose. I'm just saying if that's what's going to happen, we're not in a bad spot. And
No.
it was kind of anticipated. You know what I mean? So there's still a good team. You know, we haven't lost hope on it. The bottom hasn't fallen out. Trent Edwards isn't our quarterback. Like things are still looking up. Hopefully, this is the game you got to come back and you got to show your teeth and your grit, and at least put up a fight against this Kansas City team.
Yeah, if they step off the bus like they against the Chiefs like they did with the Titans, it's going to be another boring game for us Bills fans.
Swank, you mentioned that this isn't no Trent Edwards that we have at quarterback. And I must say, and I know people have seen the video probably throughout the week, that after a 42-16 butt whooping, our quarterback had his head up, shoulders up, walking up and down that sidelines, giving the players, it's one game. We're going to go on the next week, and we're going to prove what we have to prove. Yeah. What we hope for tomorrow is that we have, like we had against the Tennessee Titans, the whole team effort. And I say like the Tennessee Titans because the whole team effort against the Tennessee Titans was not there. Oh. Let's hope that the Kansas City game, that the whole team is there. I must give props, though, to our punter against the Tennessee Titans because he had some booms.
Isn't that sad, dude?
I feel like he always, yeah. But our coverage,
71-yarder.
Yeah, the coverage is horrible. Our punter had a good game, so good job, Mr. B, we'll call him.
Bjorquez.
But yeah, let's look at like we mentioned a little earlier, the positives about this game. We got our loss out of the way, so we don't have to worry about perfection for the fans' perspective, because I don't think the players think that much of going undefeated. They got that taste of the loss in their mouth, so maybe that's going to make them come together a little bit better. Humble play, and like I said, another positive is Allen's positivity on the sideline after that loss.
Yeah.
And let's hope some of those injuries we had last week, they all practice on Friday. So here's the hoping that our key returners come back.
Yeah. Well, something else, too, that Lordy keeps beating over the head with a hammer. How's it going, by the way? I haven't seen you in a long time. The secondary's got to step up huge this week. And we were talking about earlier with all the injuries, you kind of hope Josh Norman with Tre'Davious White in there would have a little more to show us than getting pancaked and dribbled off the field like a basketball.
They were still talking about a lot this week.
Yeah, I couldn't watch anything. I was saying to Scott too. We talked about like maybe doing a show after the Tuesday game, like and setting that up and just hopping on and getting our thoughts. My thoughts would have been not good at all.
Jared, you would have been doing most of the talking. We'd be like, yep.
Because I would have been, yep. And are we done?
Everybody watching the 24/7 Buff Fandemonium, we have our own messenger on Facebook that we chat throughout the whole game. And actually, we started one for the Tennessee Titans game for everybody, which did very well, which we encourage people to get back on that tomorrow. But, we talk back and forth throughout the game, and I think for the last 5 minutes of that Buffalo-Tennessee game, I was probably the only one saying stuff on that messenger. I think everybody else checked.
For the second half, man, I couldn't type anymore. I was just I
guys,
was done.
Come on, believe.
I know.
Trust me, Jared and Swank, I think when the Bills are winning, you'll see a lot more interaction on that site than when they're not.
Yeah,
it's exciting. Look for that tomorrow, too. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, definitely check out that thread. It'll be the game thread. It'll be pinned to the top of our page, and we'll put it in the 24/7 BF group, too. So,
excellent.
Sweet. And if you guys, if the fans of 24/7 Bills Fandemonium have noticed, I've been saying 24/7 Buff Fandemonium. There was an issue this past week. The Pagulas bought out the naming rights of the Bills Mafia, #Bills Mafia, and we got positive takes, we have negative takes, but what our group is doing, so look for some changes in this group because we're getting rid of the Bills. We're going to try to stick with the Buff and, just a couple changes here and there so we never have to deal with anything like that. That'd be the last thing we do is would we want with anything to come of that. So, Swank, I'm going to give it to you. You have any concerns or any input about this Bills Mafia being bought out by the Pagulas?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are upset when it came down. I know there's a lot of love to Del Reed, who was one of the main guys that supported that and started that. And over at 26 T-shirts, they've donated over $1 million to different charities. Yeah. And please, if you're checking this out, check that out and support. They come up with a lot of cool designs, and they donate all the proceeds to charities. And Del's a really nice guy, and he's a big staple in Bills Mafia. And football in general in this area. So big up to him. I know there was a lot of people that were super upset, and they were reaching out to him, and he actually made a couple statements about how he had conversations with the Pagulas. Everything was cool. It's my feeling that if he is okay with everything, we should be okay with everything. You know, it's I guess it's just business. You know, they can copyright it, but it doesn't mean that we're any more or less Bills Mafia the way you feel it. You know, so and you know, let's not forget that the Pagulas are like our saviors. They saved us from Bon Jovi. They saved us from Donald Trump. They saved us from L.A. They saved us from Toronto. You know, a couple years ago, it's a completely different story. And not that they're hurting right now because they're billionaires, but, you know, it's a weird year. I don't know. They're within their rights. You know, it's trademarked. It's copyrighted. It's sad. I mean, the punk rock kid in me doesn't want to say that. I want to be like, no, let's go march or whatever, you know. But like, I love the Bills too much, man, and I love the organization, and like I said, I think if Dell's cool, everybody else should be cool too. So,
Right.
Yeah, I get the hurt. I get the concerns about why this all happened because, like you said, Dell, he came in and he pretty much pushed this Bills Mafia forward when the Buffalo Bills were truly going through a rough time, and the fans were going through a rough time. So it kind of made us bond a little bit more as a fan base because of the hashtag Bills Mafia. You know what I mean? So yeah. I understand people's concerns. I understand people being upset and emotional about it. But like you said, it is a business. We got to push forward. We're still the Buffalo Bills fans. We're still the Bills Mafia regardless of what happens. So keep pushing forward. Scott, you have anything to say about that?
Swank said everything I was going to say.
Nailed it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Basically, the guy that came up with it is okay with it, what's happening with it, and it's not about the money and all that stuff for him. It's about the charities and the donations, and it's about giving, and that's stand up. That's very stand up of him, and if he's okay with it, I'm okay with it.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
And like you said, we're all Bills Mafia. It's not going to change other than it's officially trademarked now.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, so
which is they took the next step. It's on to bigger, better things for the Bills Mafia, and we'll be a part of it. And hopefully what the Pagulas do is they kind of carry on what Dell was doing. You know what I mean? Like charities and all that stuff. So I can see them doing that. Let's hope that they do that. And again, Bills Mafia.
Well, real quick, right. I'll throw on this without stepping on any toes. The Bills Mafia, let's remember, it has the word Bills in front of it, and they wouldn't have been able. No one would be able to trademark that anyways because the Bills already have the rights to that name. So I know there's a lot of fans out there saying, "Why wasn't it ever trademarked?" And that's exactly the reason why. And the Bills can do that because it's got their name on it.
I think it says it right in that message on Facebook that we saw. It's pretty much the reason is because it has Bills, and once you put Bills in it, they have legal right to it all. And that's why 24/7 Buff Fandemonium will be coming through.
Yeah.
So stick with us, guys. We're having fun. And this is a great show that we're doing. We have fun talking about football. And like I said, we encourage compliments or comments and all that stuff. So
compliments. Keep it on. You're doing great, man. You're doing great.
You're doing stellar.
Doing the same. Nice.
Like, I really like your shirt. It brings out your eyes.
Is Eric and Lloyd still on there?
Oh, yeah, dude. You're going to get your balls busted hard for that.
Yeah. Thanks for the compliments. All right, fellas. Kansas City 4-1, coming to Buffalo 4-1. I was hoping that they'd have fans in the stadium by this game, but there's not going to be. But maybe they can feel us. That's what we're hoping. I'm going to quickly jump down to Swank. What are your concerns about the Chiefs? And there's probably a lot, but I'm going to have what's your concerns about?
Yeah, what I'm not concerned about is a way shorter list. Mahomes, you know, he's that next generation, that next level. He's, you know, the highest paid quarterback in the league. The thing is, he's likable. That's what I hate the most about him, is that you got to like him. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, he makes plays. He comes through in a clutch. You know, he can throw it deep. He can pull you with his eyes. He's not afraid to take a shot, and most of the time he's right with it. So between him and that receiving core, you know, that's huge. And then with the running back, that rookie that they got there. I guess we won't be seeing any Le'Veon, even though we were in that horse race for a hot minute. Yeah, I mean, their offense is just brutal, man. Tight end, he's mobile, he can throw, they can run it. They got a track star in Tyreek Hill. Like, there's a lot to be worried about there. I'd say you'd want as many corners and safeties out there as humanly possible for most of the game.
No, their offense is potent. I mean, when you say track star with Tyreek Hill, you also have that Nicole Hardman, who's also a burner. He's a track star himself. A lot of fans and even coaches I've heard saying he's just like Tyreek Hill. We don't have to play against Sammy Watkins, which is okay, I guess. But for me, it all depends on who is going to be on the Bills roster come tomorrow. If Trey White is healthy and he's playing, if Milano is there and he's playing, he's one of the keys, Milano covering Kelsey, to that defense. And we all saw what Kelsey did on that goal line block a couple weeks ago. I mean, you're right, Swank. He can run patterns. He's fast, but he can block like the best of them at tight end. Yeah, the offense is potent, and the strategy for the game is, for me, is you gotta keep up with them. They're going to put points on the board. You're not going to stop them. And we saw what the Raiders did against them. They put points on the board. You kind of got to match point per point and kind of figure out, get a couple breaks, get a couple turnovers, and I think that'll be the difference in the game. But that offense is potent. I don't see that defense being very strong. They let up a lot of deep passes. I know Ruggs came back for Oakland last week, and he got some separation. And I know Renfro and a couple of other plays went deep, so they can be beat deep. You got to put points on the board. You can't go 3 and out, and you got to establish that offense. So their offense big time scares me. Full of
right.
balls.
And you were saying they have to match point for point. And this Lordy just asked, does Moss get 8 touches or more, minus some more? Lordy, if the run game's working, we'll see right off the bat if it is or not. But the question is going to be if Moss is playing. If he is, I feel like if the run game's being well established, then he will get more than 8 touches. I think they're going to share the load pretty easily. Like I said, if the run game works, you got to stick with it. Yes.
I'm going to say it's whoever scores first. If the Bills jump on the Chiefs and score first, then yeah, you'll see a lot more runs because they're going to try to keep the ball out of Mahomes' hands. But if they're playing catch up the whole game, that ball's going to be flying. I don't see Moss getting 8 or more touches.
I don't think that you're gonna, even if you jump out ahead a score, you better not be running it and trying to do time management kind of shit like right off the bat there. Like you better score as much as fast as you can. 3 or 4 or 5 yards at a time.
Yeah. You guys, what I'm thinking is if the run game is established and they're moving the ball with the run and the pass and they're feeding off one another, then there's no reason why it can't be 40% again like it has been all year. No. And Moss being back, if he's back, I feel like they're missing him, so they're gonna keep pumping him the ball. I'm hoping for a good run. If we have a good running game, that means we're probably winning. Yeah. So
Dable just needs to call a good game plan. And like I said, it's are you going to react to what the Chiefs do, or are you going to do your own thing? It'll be interesting to see.
Gardner said put Barkley in at tight end.
It'll be a surprise attack. There you go. Jake Cornball just let us know that the Chiefs are scoring 80% of their opening drives. How are we going to stop their opening drives for 80%?
Blitz.
Well, yeah, Jake, you're right. I mean, teams that are successful on the opening drives, they come out knowing exactly what their first 10, 15 plays are. And do you go off what they've done the first 5 weeks? Smart teams usually don't do what they don't tell. So it's hard. It all depends on if White or Milano are back and the Bills' defensive 4 puts pressure on them. I don't know how you would defend it, Jake.
I mean, we were talking about it a little bit before the stream. Like, they're going to score their points, right? I mean, it would be a hell of an accomplishment if McDermott and Frazier put together such a good defensive plan that it shut down the best offense in football, But I don't see it happening. I think obviously you go out there, you play your best game, but like we got to match them. We got to get up. The defense needs to create some turnovers.
It's like, and then that's exactly what it's like. I think you're kind of hitting it on the head there. The fact that the Bills have struggled this year in all the games with our defense is one thing. I mean, last couple of years, you could say, oh, Leslie Frazier and McDermott are going to come up with a game plan, shut everybody down, because they did shut down the Ravens last year, right? Mm-hmm. So this year coming in, if the defense showed some grit and they were actually being successful this year, then there'd be no doubt that we would hope and that we would think that they're going to come up with a huge game plan against Mahomes, right? It'd be no doubt. You're going to see something. But because the defense has struggled this year, it's very worrisome. And I would have said last week or 2 weeks ago that, oh, don't worry, Frazier and McDermott are going to come up with a good game plan to stop them. But they haven't for anybody yet. So it's very concerning to see what they're going to do. And I mean, it'd be nice if they had a full, healthy slate on that defense. And who knows what that's going to be like. But, yeah, I'm hopeful that things come out where our defense has a good game plan. But if they don't, our offense needs to score, keep up. That's going to be the name of the game.
I mean, I'm missing some names. It's been 5 weeks, and we haven't heard Oliver's name. We haven't heard Hughes' name. Swank was talking earlier about Hughes, and our defense has one of the highest pressure defensive lines in the league. But we're just not getting
five.
Yeah, and we're not getting the sacks.
Not getting home, yeah.
Hughes needs, I don't know. Is he getting pressures because he's winging around the outside uncontrollably and can't reach the quarterback? I mean, that's counted as a pressure. He needs to dip that shoulder a little earlier and put a hand on a quarterback. I don't think Hughes has a sack yet. And Ed Oliver, I mean, that sophomore slump, I hate to even think he's having one. The guy's a monster, and we haven't heard his name at all either. And our new guys, Quentin Jefferson and Vernon Butler, I said before this all started that our talent on the defensive line is better than it was last year. And right now we got a lot of people, Mafia, we got a lot of Fandemonium fans screaming, not necessarily Lawson, but they're missing Phillips, Jordan Phillips.
How about Star Latulier? You think he's playing a huge part now?
Well, you realize how important he was now that the defensive line
takes up two linemen, yeah, and I think that was like something that everybody kind of touched on in the beginning, but fans were calling for his number last year. Like they wanted him out of Dodge. And now that he sat a year out, like I think you can see how important a big guy on that line is, because most of them are small and athletic and fast. But if you got some big old O-linemen that can chew you up, like I don't know, like the proof's in the pudding, right? We haven't gotten there. So I'd like to see Epinesa, man. He's showing flashes. Yeah. If he wouldn't have done that boneheaded offsides at the end of the game, he might have got some valuable playing time in, and then maybe you could trust him more because he can get in the backfield. He made that great tackle last week. That was one of the only high points too, along with our punting game. But he could flash.
Flashback to the early 2000s with Brian Moorman. Yeah. Our punt game was great.
Yeah. At least we're only talking about one game. You know what I mean? We're not talking about a whole season where Moorman was like the MVP for the Bills for 7 years running or something. Yeah, right. But now it's a little different because you had a whole month of us getting settled into 300-yard passing games and big number scoring, and you had to step back. The last time that Josh Allen had a step back like this was when he played the Patriots. And he threw all those picks, and then what happened after that? He picked his game up even higher. He became what we're seeing now, you know. So hopefully it's a little road bump. Hopefully the defense gets looking a little bit better, kind of like it was at the end of the Oakland or Las Vegas game, and not so much whatever the hell was going on last week. So,
how do you guys think Edwards-Helaire is going to perform now that Le'Veon Bell is brought to the Chiefs? You think he's going to up? Well, you play every play 110%, but
he was already killing it, so I don't know.
Yeah, he's already doing well. It's just another monster on that offense that you have to worry about.
But we don't have to worry about him.
Oh no,
not Le'Veon. He's
I'm not talking about Le'Veon. I'm talking about the other guy there. CEH there.
Edwards-Helaire.
Helaire.
Hello. A side note, one of the good things Their guard, Asameli, he's on IR, and I'm not sure when he got hurt, but that Schwartz, their offensive tackle, is also injured. He's questionable right now. So their line is a little banged up. I looked at their depth, and they don't have a lot of depth at line. So if we can create a little bit of a mess, get some of the players flustered, they won't have a lot to back up on. So maybe we can do something. Defensive line can show up and actually make the Chiefs
Well,
look.
yeah. If you, I've tried to do a little game film today. You know, I'm not going to watch all 5 games because pretty much week 1 is definitely going to be different from week 4 and week 5. So I watched the last 2. The defensive line opponents got a lot of pressure on Mahomes, but Mahomes just has that slippery ability. He's got like what Tom Brady does, what Peyton Manning used to do, but not hit the ground like Peyton Manning when someone gets close. But you know they're able to move in the pocket. And I saw who they played last week. Oakland. Oakland had
Las Vegas.
Oh, sorry, I'm stuck in 1995. But no, they had their defensive end playing
Pogs
contained. And I saw a play where Mahomes stepped up, right? Mahomes stepped up, and the defensive end twirled back through, almost like a Trent Murphy type thing, and came and just slammed him down. So if the DEs play well and they contain, I think that's probably going to be one of the keys to the game because, like I said, there was a lot of pressure without a lot of blitzing on Mahomes, but Mahomes just has that ability to get away, and he's dangerous. So hopefully the Bills' defensive line can pull it together for that.
Right.
Games won, lost in the trenches, and you got to step it up. All right, so you guys expecting this offense to take off against this? Let's talk about the offense against the Kansas City Chiefs defense. I mean, you want to talk point for point, but so let me give you the opponents. Let's see here. They scored 20 points against the Texans. The defense led up 20 points against Texans, 20 points against Chargers, 20 points against Ravens, 10 points against Patriots, and 40 against the Raiders, and that's why they lost. Do you think they're going to have to score more than 20 points to beat the Chiefs? Right. So after giving up the big 40 watt against the Las Vegas Raiders, do you think the Bills are going to be able to keep up and get 40 as well? What do you think? Who wants to take that one? Yeah.
I'll take it. I mean, I think the Chiefs are going to be a little nervous about their defensive backfield, letting up those deep balls to Las Vegas last week. That's always in the back of your mind. And with Diggs and Brown being able to stretch the field, you can't get lazy on them. And we all know how far Allen can throw the ball. But I think with them being a little weary about the dropping back in their zones and covering the deep halves, I think that'll open up the middle of the field. And I think, I'd say it'd be perfect timing now for Knox to be doing his seams down the middle of the field, but he's out. But I think with the defense backpedaling against this high potent offense, I think we will be able to still throw the 5, 7, 10-yard passes and turn them into long gains. So I think we'll be able to score points. I think we'll be 30 plus this week easily. But like I said, we have to match every point that they do. So
Swank, I got a question for you, Swank. If we talked about this earlier, a couple weeks leading in the season, we were excited about this young tight end Dawson Knox, right? We were hoping that he'd be huge. We're hoping that he hit the jugs machine this summer.
He
got those handsprings for the catches. Is it a benefit that Knox isn't playing?
Right now, I think, yeah. I don't think he's playing well. I mean, he had that one great catch where he did what he does, and he puts his shoulder down and he face palms people, and that's awesome if you can do it with consistency. Otherwise, you're a liability, and I think that's what he was on Tuesday. I'd love to see him snap into shape. I know it's only his second year, but we're kind of seeing like the same kind of things he was doing last year, but not a lot of like the positives that he was doing last year. You know what I mean? And he's been hurt a lot, so I really hope he snaps out of it and he comes back and he's great. I was expecting to see a lot more Croft last week, but that didn't happen. So we'll see what happens going forward. Yeah, they couldn't get anything together.
They couldn't get it together. I mean, I think they started more than half of their offensive possessions with a penalty.
Yeah, it was good. It was
tough to win that
comedic
way.
by the end of it for sure.
Like flashbacks of the early 2000s.
Yeah.
What's going on? It's 1st and 15. How'd that happen?
Like I mentioned earlier, with Knox with his speed and his ability to stretch the field, with the slower tight ends like Lee Smith and Croft, uh, with everything flying around, it's kind of nice for quarterback to have somebody that's a little slower, presenting it himself and being a big target like those guys are. I mean, the Bills tight end crew had their best game without Knox, so
Sorry, Jake just wrote
Here's
that
another.
Knox is a curly-haired failure, and it made me laugh.
Knox is a curly-haired failure. Listen, Jake, I want your opinion on this one. I want the opinion of both of you guys too. You know, Knox likes the physical part of the game,
Yeah.
right? We have Gilliam as a tight end / fullback. Do you think Knox will see him in the backfield eventually?
No,
No.
will we see Knox in the backfield?
I
Yeah,
don't think
blocking.
so. I mean, I think he has actually once this year. I
Yeah, he has.
remember down at the goal line or something like that. No, I don't know. I think his whole focus should be on catching the ball. Like, that's all.
Yeah,
He just needs to
ultimately.
catch the ball, and that'd be great. Tyler Croft, I thought he was going to get cut in the offseason because I was so stoked on Dawson Knox, but he just, like, I don't know. He has been very lackluster this year. And also, it's only, week 6? Yeah. You don't want to play your best football in September, all that buzzy word, like, typical bullshit. But, like, I'd really like him just to be solid the whole season. That's all I want. Every player just to be solid the whole season.
Or at least change the things that you were poor at last year. And
Yeah.
like you said, last year being a rookie, it was easier to accept the failures because he was a rookie. It was easier to say he looked good. He looked good this week because he was a rookie. You're in year 2. You're no longer a rookie. Fix the mistakes you're supposed to work on the things that you weren't doing well last year, and it doesn't seem like Knox has done that. He's dropping balls.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And like, this is a business, so if Croft comes in or whoever else comes in and plays well at tight end position, Knox, you have your chance to shine, and if you don't, it's going to glimmer away, and you're going to lose that spot. Sad to say, but well, if it happens, it happens. I'd like to see a tight end and just boom.
Jared, do you think that if you saw Dawson Knox, you would be like, listen, if you had one chance, one opportunity, would you take it? And then spit into an M&M like.
What was I going to say? Are you referencing Eminem?
Wah, wah, wah,
I
wah,
want
wah.
to know why we're calling everybody kid. Well, guess what, guys? We're getting older, so everyone's a kid nowadays when you're hitting about 38, 40 years old. So this kid coming up, I know they're athletes and we put them at a pedestal, but they're still kids. They're still learning. You better lose yourself. And anyway, Swank, you got me off tangent there.
Sorry, dude. Lordy's trying to call out a Knox score this week, but he didn't know
He's
that
not
he was
playing, Lordy.
Yeah, he's out. He's getting chewed up right now in the comments.
We need to use shine and glimmer in the same sentence. Okay.
Shine and glimmer.
Anyway, that's a challenge by Jake. All right, guys. All right, it's that time. Let's start giving our keys to success. Okay, I think we touched a little bit on it, the keep up with the score and stuff like that. But the one thing that you think is going to be the key to the success of the Buffalo Bills Kansas City game? It's fine.
Tre'Davious White playing healthy, I think, is going to be one of the biggest keys. I'll go ahead and double dip and say Milano too. If he can hang with Kelsey, and then you have Trey, I would assume he's going to be shadowing Hill with some help over the top, hopefully from like Poyer or Hyde. That's going to be huge. You got to shut down their passing game, and if you can do that, and then try to do something with their running game, it's just going to be really hard. You got to stall that offense, man. You got to find some way to disrupt him, get him off his game. A big pick like we had right at the beginning of the game last week would be huge. If you're lacking confidence because you threw a pick and then you're getting rocked on your ass every once in a while, make him uncomfortable. That's what you have to do. I think it's been proven that it can be done. The Chargers came really close, and they had a rookie quarterback in. I think if you have somebody, a team with an offense that can produce points, that's not a problem. It's just making sure that you can somehow rattle Mahomes' cage. Like, you got to do that,
Right.
or else there's no
A
hope.
couple times throughout the game.
Yep.
Scott.
I had a bunch of things, and I touched on them earlier in the episode. And my keys to the game all depend on how those first couple drives go. If the Bills are playing catch up, the key to the game is that they got to keep matching points. That's the key. Once you start falling by, once they start scoring and you give them the ball back and falling behind on points, it's going to be hard catching back up to the Chiefs. That being said, if we can establish a lead, the key to the game is keeping the ball out of Mahomes and Crew's hands, and that would be giving Moss's 8+ touches like Lordy touched upon. That's getting Singletary involved in the run game because he is a beast and he's still fresh because they never use him. And that's we talked about it last week or 2 weeks ago on our show. The Bills have that capability of scoring quick, but they also have the ability of having long established drives. And again, depending on how the first couple drives go, either one can be a key to the game. And turnovers. You need to get turnovers because if it is a shootout, we need to get our turnover somewhere, a couple of them.
Right. I'm glad you didn't mention Stephon Diggs in that rant there because Lordy thinks Diggs is going to be important, but if you've seen Diggs the last 5 weeks, his numbers have been outstanding. He's been a great number one receiver. So Diggs' success, he's been successful every week. We need to find someplace else to get more success if we want to keep up with Kansas City. So that's a great take on that. Bradling, my key to success is going to be our linebacker play. I'm hoping Milano gets back and healthy. He's going to be the key to covering that dangerous tight end that Jake wants to score 4 touchdowns with Kels. And also, we need pressure on that quarterback. And like I mentioned Jake earlier, he says, how do you rattle Mahomes? You just got to keep at him. You got to keep on him. He's a Super Bowl MVP. He's seen a lot of stuff. But how you – and Swank, you've mentioned this in shows before, and even when we're just talking not on the show, if you put that quarterback on his butt, I don't care how good you are, you're going to start hearing those footsteps, throwing the ball quicker than you need, thinking what you're making the right read and you're not. So it's going to come down to that defensive line constantly badgering him and those linebackers keeping that middle of the field and that tight end under check. And I think that's going to be the key to the game. And
well, one of our things that we mentioned earlier this week on our site is a post that I posted out. What defensive group is struggling the most? And the consensus has it is, everybody thought each group. I mean, I think it was fair voting along the three. But what it comes down to is one makes the other one better. So you take up double teams, you take up run blocks, you take up lead blockers as a defensive line, create pressure on a quarterback. Your linebackers are going to cover a lot better. They're going to fill holes a lot better, and they're going to blitz a lot better. When the linebackers do that, then the corners have less time to cover these wide receivers, which makes it easier to cover them. So we posted that earlier, and basically what it come down to is all three phases of the game were poor, but it does start with a defensive line.
Yep, the game's won and lost in the trenches, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Jake was just bringing up that point about how, nobody's been able to make Mahomes uncomfortable. He's the unshakable quarterback, apparently, and whatever. I think if you hold your edge and you got a spy on him and you sell out, I think you got to take chances and you got to try to plant him on his ass, at least make him hurry up a little bit. Some of this cute stuff that he does, as much as it's like great highlight film reel stuff, like the no-look passes, all that, those are bad decisions sometimes. Like if you're willing to make that kind of decision, the kind of decision that will drive Andy Reid to drink if you mess it up, like, if that's in you, then there's a way to rattle that cage. I'm the first one to say he's the best that's played the game this year by far. Last year, by far, the first year he started, really, right? Like, I mean, he's been something to reckon with ever since he got into the league. And he's fun to watch, and he's a good quarterback. But, I don't know. I don't think the Bills are just going to sit back and not try to rattle his cage or like let him just. I would
tomorrow's
hope
not a
they're not
day.
going to try and throw all over him. But
Tomorrow's not going to be the day where you just bring four
yeah,
linemen.
you can't. You got to send somebody. You got to at least try, because otherwise, if you're not at least trying to move him around back there, like, he's just going to sit there and pick you apart. Because we know, man, wide receivers, tight ends, they're going to win that route battle, right? Like, if you extend the play long enough, they know where they're going. Cornerbacks, safeties, linebackers do not know where they're going. That play is going to open up. If you give them more than 4 seconds, you know what I mean? Like, there's a big opportunity that comes up. So, I mean, I know it's a hard ask, but if you want to try and make something out of tomorrow, you're gonna have to do something. Sell out. I don't care. Do a blind blitz right on everybody.
Go 110% with everything you can.
Send Borquez. I don't care.
Right. What's number 9 is when he's on the field. What's he gonna do? No, if you're watching Mahomes in the last 3 seasons that he's been there, the other thing is, with any good quarterback, is with that 4 seconds is up, when you're covering that guy, you have to keep playing if that quarterback, because he can throw it from the ground right before he hits the ground. He can throw it when he's rolling right. He throws it all the way left. You have to be playing the whole play to beat this team. Coming down to it, I think what we've established for tonight's show is the key to success is Scott's. You got to go point for point. You got to keep up with the score. And with Swank and I, and that defense just has to keep hitting that quarterback. Yep. Hit the quarterback, score. And hopefully we come out on top. What that's going to bring us to, guys, right now is I want from you guys the score prediction and a bold prediction. And the viewers can jump in here. We usually do a score and a bold prediction for the game. Let us know what you think. But Scott, I'm going to let you lead the way. I want a score and a bold prediction.
My bold prediction kind of contraindicates my score prediction. It's going to be high scoring. Of course, we're Bills fans. We're got to go Bills. 41-38, going to be a close one. I do have the Bills going point for point with the Chiefs, and having our buddy Bass. This is kind of my bold prediction. Bass is going to win it with a 50-plus yard field goal at the end of the game.
I like that.
These bold predictions, they can be really tough, and you don't want to be a homer when you're trying to figure it out, but you try to keep it as realistic as you can based on previous games, and I just it's hard to do a bold prediction, but the score I think is going to be up there, and I think it will come down to whoever has the ball last, and hopefully Bass can put that 50-plus yarder in his pocket for us.
So you're saying my 8+ sacks 4 weeks ago prediction was a little homer action? What do we have now? 10?
Yeah, I was gonna say for the season, if you were calling it, it'd be pretty accurate.
All right, perfect, Scott. You have 41-38. I laughed because my score is pretty close to that, and you have bold prediction is our young kicker Bass can come through and win the game. Perfect. I like that. Swank, how about you, bud?
I'm going 37-35. Buffalo Bills. I don't know why. I just think it's going to be a shootout, and they're going to keep going, and it's going to be at least fun to watch, hopefully. My bold prediction is that Tre'Davious White is going to get 2 picks. That's my big, bold prediction. And that will be the key to the game, because they could turn those picks into points if they really try. If they really wanted to.
They really wanted. Trey doesn't take one back?
What's that?
Trey doesn't take one back?
He can. I don't care. Sure. Sure. Yeah, he can do whatever he wants. He can peanut punch it out of the back of his hand. I don't care.
Yeah.
As long as they get a couple turnovers. I think that's going to be huge. But there's been a lot of upsets this week. The Bills are due for like one of those games, like they got their ass beat last week. This could be like that Vikings game, when Allen was young and he leaped bar and all that stuff. It could be that for this season. Why not? You know what I mean?
You say that, Swank, right? So anybody that's watching the game tomorrow, Josh Allen's going to go up against Patrick Mahomes, and this is going to be one of those new era quarterbacks coming in, right? The new competition, hopefully, that we're all hoping about. Josh Allen's going to make some crazy plays. He's going to have a little bit of amp behind him. So he's going to try to, look for some crazy stuff, but hopefully it's successful.
Hey guys, based off of what I said earlier in the show, if the Bills were truly preparing for the Chiefs last week before the Titans, then technically we have 2 weeks of preparation for the Chiefs, right? So hopefully that pays off.
Yeah.
Hey, Swank, who's Trey going to be on all day tomorrow?
I think Hill. I think he's probably going to shadow him the most. Like I said, I think he'll have some help over the top because Hill's fast, man. I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but Hill is fast.
Yeah.
Other than that, with Sammy out, they have so many weapons.
I was gonna say with Sammy out, the Hardman guy's just as fast.
Yeah.
So, but I had a note earlier I wanted to mention about how they do that jet sweep as well a lot, and they like to give it to Hill. Do you think that benefits the Buffalo Bills, the fact that they have a jet sweep guy too, that maybe they've seen it quite a bit during practice, that they're not going to be too surprised by it?
Well, yeah, you can tell when it's coming. You still got to catch them.
Yeah. I guess you got McDermott, coached under Reed for all those years and all that stuff. Like, I'm sure he's got an okay familiarization with the way he plays and what he might try and pull out of his pocket to kind of surprise him. I don't know, man. It's just it's going to be super interesting. I'm really excited for the game. I'm really anxious about the game. It's I just kind of hope it's one of those things where we just jump out right out the gate, Maybe Roberts takes one home like right out the gate. You know what I mean? Like
he needs to redeem himself.
Exactly. Yeah, he had a piss poor performance last week.
Yeah, he sure did.
So what do you got, Jared?
So, Swank, before I tell you my bold prediction and my score, you have a video for me?
Yeah, you want me to put that up?
Yeah, we had a special guest, a little friend of mine, Landon, and his father, Tom, jump in, and I asked for them to give us their bold prediction and their game MVP. So, without further ado, our special guests, Landon and Tom.
Okay, Landon, what do you think the score is going to be?
45-21.
45-21? Who?
Chiefs.
Chiefs? Tom, what do you think the score is going to be?
I'm going with 42-28, Kansas City.
Who's going to be the MVP of the game?
Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes? Who's that? Oh, that guy. You met him?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Was he awesome?
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
All right. Say. What else you got to say?
Nothing.
Nothing? Go Chiefs?
Yeah.
All right, how awesome is that?
Cute kid.
Yeah, man.
That's pretty cool.
I don't agree with him though. So.
Did you guys see that picture of him with Patrick Mahomes? Mahomes, I guess, made an appearance up here in Rochester, and they got the ability to go and Landon. I tell you what, you ask him anything Kansas City Chief, his dad has taught him well. He knows everything, and it's pretty cool at that young age.
That's awesome.
Did he teach him well? He is a Chiefs fan.
Well, got to keep tradition.
The kid's got one more Super Bowl win under his belt than I ever had in 37 years. So
at a young age,
yeah,
jeez, man.
Yeah, it's over. He'll never know the suffering. He'll just never know it.
Who's your quarterback for the first 15 years of your life? Patrick Mahomes. Oh man.
Yeah. Cool.
Hey, especially when you can get a picture with him, he'll be a fan of his for life, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, you gotta get that framed, and I don't know if they have that signed or not, but they gotta get that signed. That'd be awesome.
Right.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Maybe 24/7 Buff Fandemonium can do that for him somehow.
There you go. Hey, Jared, what's your prediction? Come on.
All right, let's get to that. My
I'm on
prediction.
pins and needles.
I laughed. What's that, Swank?
I'm on pins and needles. Just tell me already.
I laughed when Scott said 41-38 because I have 42-38.
Wow.
So we're pretty darn close.
Are you guys
Scott.
twins or something?
Yeah, right. I was born a minute before him, so maybe that's the point. So 42-38 Buffalo Bills. My prediction is going to be, I know you guys have had this prediction early in the year, but I think, like I said earlier, I think that the running game, if it gets established, it's going to be a major part of the game. And I'm hoping and I'm predicting that Singletary is going to get his first 100-yard game, but I'm going to up it. I think if the run game is on, he'll get over 150. And they'll
Wow,
jump him
450 yards, you're saying?
I said 200. What did I say? 150. No, that would put him at 450 yards rushing for the.
He almost went up to 2. Did you hear him?
Yeah.
Almost. I almost got him up to 2 when I said that.
No, my bold prediction is over about 150 yards rushing. I think he's going to have a hell of a game. You know, then week 6, right? We're hoping that we get a run game.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of I feel like I've made excuses for it in weeks past, saying that like, we really haven't needed it, you know. But then last week it was like kind of needed it, and then I don't know. Towards the end of the third quarter, there was that drive, and Dable was really taking his time and still doing run plays and all that stuff, and I was just like, man, I don't know. I lost a little faith. That was a little bit of the old Dable we knew and hated from last year, you know, and years prior.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the whole drive, I'm like,
the offense going. Let's get the offense going.
Yeah,
Come on.
we have to score before 11 minutes. We have to score before 11 minutes. And then it went under 11 minutes. I'm like, man, they're just taking way too long.
Yep.
But they were in it. If you think about it, it was 28-16 when we were driving. It's not like we were out of that game.
Yeah. Then
Just
it
got
got
sloppy
ridiculous.
here and
Yeah. But we're over
Yeah,
that. It's done.
Yeah.
Ancient history.
That's the thing about sports, right? Especially football. You live week to week, season to season. You know, in February, if your team wins, awesome. Celebrate it, enjoy it. But that next season's right around the corner. You know, so it's like week to week. Us Bills fans, we have our ups and downs, and we're having more ups this time around than downs, which is great. But we still have, you know, we have the right to be a little grumpy for a day or two. But then, man, right back to the next week, promising. Head-to-head, Kansas City versus Buffalo. Can't wait for tomorrow. It's going to be fun. About a 5 o'clock game, though. What do you guys think about that 5 o'clock game?
I'm fine with it, man.
Yeah.
I'm not home till 7, so friends that are watching, do not text me. I'm DVRing it.
DVR.
How are you going to be in that live feed?
Whatever it is.
Are you using your VCR and recording?
Remember you had both buttons, play and record?
Yep.
You really don't want us to let you know what's going on?
I cannot wait. I'll know what's going on as it's
Hey man, I
happening.
respect it. If you can hold out, dude, if you can hold out, more power to you.
But I would be part of the live
I think
feed.
I'm just gonna start like texting you misinformation and be like, oh my god, dude, Joe Montana came out of retirement and he just put up fucking 50 yards.
Did you see there's a little piece of paper going around out there that people are signing that says, "Dear boss, please let me out of work early. The Bills are playing at 5 o'clock."
That's great. Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm out at 4, so
There you go.
yeah,
That's perfect.
yeah,
I
buddy.
got 3 kids, so.
So you're coming over?
Sorry. See ya, sweetie. How's it going? So yeah, I wish, you know, I was hoping throughout the week that they'd push that to either later, but it's not going to happen.
No.
And you know what? I tell you what, it sucks, but we're gonna watch the game anyway, and the players are fine with it. So, you know, we have to miss a little bit or whatever. It's fine. You can always do what Scott does in DVR and watch it through and through if you really want to. But I'm gonna do my best to watch the game. That's for sure. All right. Anybody have any closing thoughts for tonight? Swank.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for everybody that tuned in and watched on this weird night that we did this.
Crew there.
Sounds that we will. We're going to be back on Tuesday. Is that correct?
Yep.
So-
Normal time, Tuesday, 9:30 Eastern time.
All right, so we'll break
Back
that
on track, right?
right back on track. Break that Monday night win down real quick. But yeah, thanks for hanging out and commenting. And if you'd like to follow, like, or subscribe us on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, or Anchor, that'd be huge. At 24/7 Bills Fandemonium right now. It's going to get switched to 24/7 Buff Fandemonium within the next couple weeks. And as always, you know, join us every Tuesday night, 9:30 p.m. right here, right now. Where else would you rather be?
like
right
this.
here, right now.
Marv, Mr. Levy.
Marv.
Scott, closing thoughts.
The schedule chaos will be over with soon. Pending COVID tests. I miss my Sunday 1:00 games. It'll
Oh, yeah.
return next week. So, amongst all the chaos, everyone work with us, work with the Bill schedule. It'll be normal after this week.
Perfect. And I'd like to remind people the NFL season's shorter than any other season that you'll ever watch throughout sports, Major League Baseball, basketball, all that stuff. So we have 16 games, and our Buffalo Bills are 4-1. And you couldn't ask for a better start. It's great. It's wonderful. Let's enjoy the ride. We say it every week. Enjoy that ride. This is fun. This is the fun part. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We got the Motley crew that joined us today. If you read through the comments, got a heck of a group there. I want to thank everybody that's viewed tonight and it's going to view in the future. Don't be afraid to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, where you'll find us there. And guys, good luck tomorrow. Have fun tomorrow. We will be sharing a video tomorrow of what are you drinking and what are you wearing. We like to see what everybody's wearing and drinking for the game. I know it's a work day, but you can have a couple soda pops.
Oh yeah.
And again, very much.
Hey, don't forget about the game day thread too. That'll be on the Facebook page.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, then we'll be able to chat back and forth with everybody in the 24/7 Buff Fandemonium and like Swank referred to earlier. Just keep in touch with. We're going to keep you updated with all the changes that's going on within this group, just to keep things pretty cool. So, again, thank you very much, and as always, go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills!